All right, divide by 5 or 10. Now, I actually want to do divide by 10 first because this is one that I'm really, really good with. Look, when I said you multiply by 10, you just add a 0. Just add a 0. I think I'm working out of tune for that. With dividing by 10, you're just taking off a 0. That's it. You're taking off a 0. Divide by 10, take off a 0. 30 divided by 10 is 3. Later on, when we start talking about decimals, this will get a teensy bit more complicated. But for right now, you're never going to have to divide a number by 10 that doesn't have a 0 at the end of it, not in 3rd grade. So 40 divided by 10, just take away the 0. 50 divided by 10, just take away the 0. 100 divided by 10, just take away a 0. And again, this should make sense because if you take 100 and you divide it into 10 groups, each group is going to have 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. 60 divided by 10 is 6. 10 divided by 10, anything divided by itself is 1. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 70 divided by 10 is 7. Dividing by 10 is really easy, and the reason why I wanted to divide by 10 before I went to divide by 5 is because a lot of the time when I'm dividing by 5, what I'm actually doing is dividing by 10 and then doubling it. And that's what I'm going to write down here. It's not always necessary, but when you divide by 5, you can instead divide by 10, which is much, much easier whether or not you're using decimals, and then double it. Now, in this case, that would be silly because 15 does not divide evenly by 10, but it still works. It's just I would be dipping into decimals without having to. So that's sort of my tip for dividing by 5. It's the only one I've got. That and counting by 5s is always really easy. So you can always count by 5s up. 5, 10, 15. It's 3. $45 divided by 5 is 9. Anything divided by itself is 1. Now here we've got a great example. We've got 30 divided by 5, so the method that I use in my head is 30 divided by 10, which is 3, right? Just take the 0 away, and then I double it. Those are my two steps. Divide by 10 and then multiply by 2, or the other way around, that would also work. You can multiply by 2 and then divide by 10, which also would have worked in those earlier problems. So we're going to do that in the next problem. So divide by 10 is 3, multiply by 2 is 6, 30 divided by 5 is 6. 20 divided by 5, again, divide by 10 is 2, double is 4. 40 divided by 5, for similar reasons, is 8. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And now, 35 divided by 5. We could instead, if we wished, this is a valid method, we could take 35 times 2 and then divide that by 10. That would totally work. 35 times 2 is 70. Divided by 10 is 7. So either way, you can use the fact that it's easy to both multiply and divide by 10 and relatively easy to multiply and divide by 2 to really simplify your mental math when you're dealing with 5s. I said 7, right? Yeah. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 50 divided by 5 is 10. And that's that.